I felt like I was going crazy. And I didn't know how to tell people that. How do you tell somebody? How do you tell somebody that? And because I'm so used to being the strong person, I was like, it's okay. You okay? Don't worry about it. Don't like you overthinking it, but I could not deny that something was wrong with me.
You have just tuned into Trust Sasha. Yeah.
I have a podcast. I'm in awe. I cannot believe that it's happening. I've started this podcast about 11 times, and honestly, it's taken me like what, a few years to get to this point. So, welcome into the space, into my safe space. Um, my podcast is all about healing. It's everything that I am. I would not be here today if I would had not been faced with the darkest, most loneliest, um, depressed, anxiety-driven moments that led me to feel like I cannot keep this to myself. I have to. It is actually, I'll be doing a disservice by keeping this to myself. Like, I have to share it. And so, boom. Let me tell y'all why I'm even starting a podcast. I don't even remember the year, but I had like 2021-ish, I had pericarditis. If you don't know what pericarditis is, that means that the heart sits in a sac, and the sac that my heart sits in, um, it was inflamed at the time, which means that I was at a risk of basically like ba-boom, 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 heart attack like that. Um, and at one point, I just pushed through it because I felt off. My heart rate was beating. Like I'd just be sitting, relaxing, and my heart would just be racing. And I was like, something is wrong. But I was like, I still need to go to work. Like, I still need to make this money. I still need to figure out a way to live. And that almost cost me my life. That thought process almost cost me my life. By the grace of God, drove myself to the hospital. I definitely should not have done that. Went to the hospital, and after months of healing, my heart was perfectly fine, which is a blessing. But that sparked a deep and severe anxiety to a point I couldn't go to work. I could not go outside. I was so afraid. And I didn't know what I was afraid of. I didn't even know I had anxiety, to be honest. I didn't know I had anxiety because I didn't know what anxiety was. I was just so used to being in survival mode that I was like, what is this other feeling? But my palms would get sweaty, my heart would start racing. Turns out my anxiety was actually a fear that I was having a heart attack. Like I had this fear that something was wrong with my heart. And because anxiety mimics heart issues, I was in the hospital like back to back. For months, I went to the hospital almost every day in a deep fear. I was severely anxious, severely anxious. And then I started fainting. And then I really thought something was wrong with me. Turns out, I learned so much medical terminology. Turns out that I was so anxious that my vagus nerve triggered and my body was just like, I can't do it no more. And I would faint. I would pop right back up after, but I fainted. And it just got so terribly bad to a point where I almost lost my job. because I couldn't go to work. I mean, I could try to go to work, but I couldn't even drive. I was so anxious about driving because I was fainting. And I felt like I was out of control of my life. I felt like I was losing my mind. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you feel like I'm not me anymore. And I don't even know how to get back to me. I felt like I was going crazy. And I didn't know how to tell people that. How do you tell somebody? How do you tell somebody that? And because I'm so used to being the strong person, I was like, it's okay. You okay? Don't worry about it. Don't like you overthinking it, but I could not deny that something was wrong with me. And it really wasn't until I went back to the doctor because I was running. Boy, I racked up so many doctor bills. Jesus, for real. But I went back to the doctor. I was in the ER all the time. And the doctor finally gave me some paperwork, and I read the results, and it said, needs psychological attention. And I said, I came in here for something pertaining to my heart. Like, what does this have to do with the mind? She was like, I put this down because your heart is fine. You're extremely healthy. But I don't think that you believe you are. So I recommend that you get therapy. And I also recommend that you speak to a psychiatrist. And I'm like, um, okay. And so I go home and I'm in an extreme denial. But I spoke to that psychiatrist and they was trying to put me on medication. And I was like, no, nothing wrong with medication, by the way. Nothing wrong with medication at all. I just felt like if I did not resolve this issue as I am without something helping me, then I feared that I may always need something to help me. And I did not want that for myself. And so my friend, Dom, shout out to my friends, my family during this time period, because I leaned on them like never before to a point where like I would be on like I could cry just thinking about how much literally my mommy almost lost her job because she left home to come take care of me for months. She took me to my doctor's appointments. Now I'm getting the timeline mixed up, so let me back it up. My friend Dom, I was in the midst of this. I was struggling, and she was like, "Why don't you try acupuncture?" She loved watching some TV, and I guess she saw in this episode this girl got acupuncture, and it like relieved all her trauma came out. And I was like, well, at this point, I have nothing to lose because I don't know what direction to turn to. So why not acupuncture? I love holistic healing. I know that acupuncture is a powerful ancient medicine. And so I did acupuncture. And I went in the first day. Mind you, I'm supposed to get to acupuncture, right? I'm on my way to acupuncture, but I was so fearful of driving to a point where I would get in my car, I would break out crying. I was shaking, everything. I try to use Uber. That don't work. I try to use Lyft. That don't, for some reason that day the system was down. Reach out to my friends, they at work. I said, Jesus, mind you, my acupuncturist is 8 minutes away. Not 8 minutes on the freeway, 8 minutes on the surface streets, right? I was crying the whole way there. I got into that office and I just broke down. And my doctor, Dr. Lee, who is family, that's my family. He said, he has a thick Korean accent, but he said, I'm going to help you. And I laid on that table, crying and shaking. He put the needles all on my body. And I immediately thought about the Nutty Professor. I was thinking about the Nutty Professor. I said, how many needles is he gonna put? And I just feel like I felt the pain, but the pain was nothing compared to what I had been experiencing for months. And when I laid on that table, after like 20, 30 minutes, I felt my body calm down. And when I left out of that acupuncturist office, I was healed. And then the next day I woke up and I felt terrible. I really did. My acupuncturist, he said something very powerful, which I love about my acupuncturist. He says, God tells me where to put the needles. God tells me where to put the needles. I knew I was in good hands. But he also says, I'm not God, but I will do my best. And he said, I want you to understand, it may get worse before it gets better. I didn't process that. In my mind, it got better. And I went home and I was so joyous. I called my mom, I called my sister. I said, hallelujah. I was healed, okay? I went to sleep. I woke up that next day and I felt like a deep sickness that I cannot even articulate. But that was the start of it getting worse before it got better. The long story short, because I could keep going, but the long story short is it took me a year. It took me a year of consistent acupuncture for two times a week to heal my body, to heal my mind, to heal my heart. I was under such severe anxiety that when I went into acupuncture, memories were coming up from my childhood that I didn't even know exist. I spent that year resting for the first time. I healed trauma that I forgot I lived. I cried. I cried so much. Like, when you've been like, I've been crying so much, I ain't got no tears left in me. I cried for like a year. I am not even joking. I think I cried every day for a long time. I journaled. I read this powerful book, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Check it out, okay? That book helped heal me. And then in the midst of that, I lost my auntie who was my prayer warrior. And I just did not understand what I had done to be going through something so difficult. I felt like I'm a good person. Like, I'm a good person, God. I didn't understand. I do right by me. I do right by other people. I'm not over here being conniving to nobody. I ain't never had a demonic evil spirit. Like, that is not me. And I did not understand why God was putting me through this. And then I realized, and I heard it clear as day, God spoke to me. And God said, when you heal yourself, it will be your job to heal others. And I said, well, I thought I was doing that. I'm a teacher, but I heard it clear as day. And I felt the power of it so much that I started crying. Like, tears just ran down. And I was like, how am I supposed to heal other people with this train wreck of a story? Because I'm telling you right now, and there's so much I didn't even cover. I'm trying to keep it as smooth and simple, but this is all about why I started this podcast. God told me to do it. God told me to start this podcast. I wish I could have had a different experience, but at the same time, I don't. Because I would not be me today had I not gone through all of that trauma, that anxiety, that deep, dark depression, that loneliness, that fear. My body was begging me for help. And I didn't even understand what I needed. And I just said to myself, I can't keep this to myself. One, because God told me not to. And two, because I can't be the only one. There's got to be somebody out there thinking, God, I know you didn't bring me this far to just get this far. There's got to be something more on the other side. And that was my thought process. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to start a podcast. And I have my own story and my own experience, my own strife. But I want to share it. And so, no, this is not a solo podcast, but this is a solo episode, episode number 1. So throughout my podcast, I'm going to help people heal. I'm going to help people heal from silent struggles, past traumas, burnout. I want to teach people how to rest. I want to teach people that it's okay to be vulnerable. I want to create a safe space that allows us to be heard, to be seen, and to not feel alone. Because I felt alone, I felt in the dark, and I felt like nobody was watching. And the world kept going while my life felt like it stopped. But this safe space is all about, it's about us. And I'm blessed. And I don't care if it's one person that hears this, because it's all about service to me. It's about service because I was given an opportunity, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And so all of this leads up to my podcast and the name of my podcast, which is called Trust Sasha, because I didn't trust me. I didn't even know me. I thought I knew me, but I did not know me. And Trust Sasha is about building the trust within, overcoming the healing. And I feel like we all need to be able to trust ourselves. And me being able to finally trust me has led to this moment. And if I can help one person, then I've done what God has asked me to do. And I've also honored my ancestors. And I've also honored the world. So, welcome to the Trust Sasha podcast. I'm your host, Sasha Jones. Come on along this journey with me, because I'm not done healing, and I'm not afraid to tell you what I'm healing from. Let's be vulnerable together. Let's share this space together. Let's grow together. Let's just get it done so we could be free. I can't believe it. It's here. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see y'all soon. Wow. Thank you, God.